Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Krashy, and today we're doing a VOD review, kind of. I'm not actually playing. This is a gameplay I got the other night, last night, whatever night it was, and I knew I wasn't in like recording mode, but I recorded the game with just the audio, so I figured I could do some voiceover work on it and talk a little bit about the build that I'm playing, because I do really enjoy this build, and as the title suggests, I think that this might be the best build, or I don't exactly know how the title reads, but it's probably the best build for Khaimera in solo queue. I think that this is specifically just like a ridiculously strong solo queue build. I think Khaimera's probably the best jungler in the game, if not the best jungler in the game, like pretty damn high, and we're gonna go ahead and dive into it. So as you can see, I'm using a marksman crest, and that's because I'm going to be playing Eviscerator. Now this is what I'm calling the shred build. This build absolutely shreds. It dominates. We're using all the percentage HP items. We're using all the kind of shredding press Q on Khaimera spam items, and we're really getting pretty dirty with it. So as we're getting through this early part of the gameplay, I'm going to just talk a little bit about what this build is trying to do. Eviscerator on hit, essentially, it just sort of like on press adds a ton of on hit damage, so that's a lot more shred because, you know, you're kind of like adding a ton of damage. So it just plays into the theme of just like pumping up the Q damage that you're going to do. Now look, watch this part right here. I like this a lot. The Khaimera goes in for a gank, but I just am in that perfect place at the right time kind of thing, and I'm just like ripping into him because I happen to be there. Now I am going to look to peel and see how this plays out, because I don't exactly remember it, but I do know that I go on ahead and flash up after her, finish that off. I think my howitzer dies to him, unfortunately. I don't know where this guy comes out at, so... And then he comes right out at me, so he could have honestly left. He used his jump, I used mine, couple of free kills, so... Pretty crazy circumstances there. I don't know why he ran into me. I think he probably could have gotten away because I was kind of ready to concede, and now looking at my gold, I have enough that I don't really just need to start this. I can just go back, buy really quick, and then continue my rotation. But we're going to be building Sky Splitter. Really phenomenal item on Khaimera that has been for a really long time now. Then we're going to be building a Basilisk. Then we're going to be building a Mutilator. So it's... I think I built it in that order. I don't remember if that's the exact order I built it in, but you can see that I'm doing Sky Splitter, percentage on hit damage. Then we have Basilisk is armor shred, and, you know, just like really nasty burst damage on the Q spam. And the Mutilator is health steal, which also brings us some ability haste, which is always nice just because that item has a ton of haste on it. So we're going to steal health, but then we're also doing some percentage damage as well. So a lot of damage. And then your last two items, I don't think Kai can really survive being super squishy, and you kind of have to get fed to really do this build, although I do think that this build is a pretty damn solid build, pretty much regardless. I don't think I would ever play this in like a competitive setting though, because I just think it's like way too volatile, and, you know, if you ever fall behind on this build, you're probably screwed. So it could be pretty volatile for solo queue, but solo queue is a little bit more of a playground, right? So yeah, and Khaimera, really phenomenal jungler in the sense that you can just actually jungle your ass off. So yeah, don't be afraid of something like that. Now, at some point in this game, I probably should have noticed this earlier, or made note of it earlier. I did notice that their Khaimera has a Titan's Crest, so I feel like with a couple kills, I already know that I have more damage than him because I'm further along in items, but also because his Titan's Crest that's much more of a scaling kind of scenario, right? Like, he's going to be looking to scale. Now, the more I guess rotating over from offlane, he's going to be looking to scale with the Titan's Crest, whereas I'm going to be much more able to be aggressive early. So, you know, that little invade, it's a small little thing, but I can get in there, take something from him. I know I'm already ahead. That puts me a little bit more ahead. And then now looking at the map, we're back into our blue side immediately. So I had the potential to kind of get ahead early in a mirror match, which it just kind of worked out that way in public matches. We're playing the Khaimera mirror match, and then you know, I can see that I'm like one farm ahead of him, or whatever the case may be for now, and then I can kind of steal some farm and then continue this. So yeah, Khaimera, really phenomenal if you can get that level 6 as well. So kind of rushing the level 6, you know, don't really do a ton of early ganks, although you can. I think before level 6, you can maybe rip like 1 or 2 ganks. I think any more than that might be a little excessive, and then you're just kind of like slowing down your actual like natural power spike. But it's 3-3, so right now it's not like the game is like over yet, right? We're getting some good gold. As I finish up this blue side, what I'll probably do is just base here and go by, and then get myself back out on field. And our support gets a kill, which is nice. But yeah, you can see I'm just going to go ahead and base, and we're going to get out. get out on the field with our Eviscerator and a composite bow. So really, really close to our Sky Splitter now. My red side jungle's coming up. We got mid rivers are coming up in just a bit. And I'm really, really close to my level 6. So you can see me kind of pinching in towards the mid rivers. The Howie left. Usually in this scenario, I almost always sweep her top of the stairs there just to kind of get some good information. And don't have any wards here, but she's stepping in, so you can see I'm trying not to use my right click on her, but she drops a ward, so I just take that for free. And then now she's trading me. Now I do have my Eviscerator, but her not having her level 6, I don't really feel like I need it. She does get the river buff, which is a bit annoying. I'm just going to go ahead and rip my ult. But yeah, I probably should have just Eviscerated it. I think, honestly, now that I'm looking back at it, I think this is just a slight misplay for me not using the Eviscerator because I had just gotten it and I just like wasn't kind of like in tune with that. But if I'm going to commit the ultimate, I might as well go ahead and rip the Eviscerator because Eviscerator is a pretty short cooldown. You'll actually see me farm with it quite a bit as well. So definitely something for me to kind of self-review in this moment. Now we're looking at the duo lane. I'm 30 seconds off my flash, so I can't really do much there. But what I can do is try to kind of run into this scenario. You know, they're going to see that I'm like, this is getting a pretty committal now. And I'm here, turn on that Eviscerator, and we just start shredding. Now, unfortunately, I don't get anything, but hey, our Rector's popping off this game, so that's good. And then I can use this to carry it straight into an invade. Now, the Countess did just kill our Howie. I don't have any information on that, but this is one beautiful thing about Khaimera, dude. He just heals so much. So the risk of stealing jungle is because of his lack of mobility. It's not because of the position he's going to be in health-wise. So I can grief that camp a little bit, and I start doing this, and I believe, if I remember correctly, yeah, the Khaimera shows up, and I probably missed smite here. I think I tried to get it a little bit too early, so I tried to get it too early. I'm going to go ahead and cleanse. If I really have to, I flash out, and I think I actually die here. The Countess is occupying our rev, so I don't really get much backup on the rev. He flashes after me, so we have flash cooldowns and a Twin Blast ultimate. So unfortunately, I'm going to die. I'm not perfect, definitely not perfect. I'm going to start working on the Basilisk. Basilisk, I think the reason why I'm trying, it's hard for me to say which is the best option. I think it may be game by game, but my thought process for going into Basilisk second on this particular type of build was that at least the health is going to give me some more effective HP, whereas like I mean, I can quantify that the effective HP is going to be helpful for getting a little bit defensive. It's hard for me to quantify how the like stealing health on Mutilator would feel as a second option here. Mutilator on Kai is not like what it once was, so I don't think it's super high priority. Now I am using it to like create this shredding build, and I do think that it adds a little bit of durability to him. Now I like this. He doesn't see me when I come in here, and I ping, so I'm trying to ping to the Howie to let him know. So I'm being patient. I think that's really important here, that I really want to gank in on this. And now I see my Howie, I go in. I tried to smite that, but didn't quite get it. We pop our ultimate, and we're all over this Kai. Even the Greystone rotates over. So really good communication just through, you know, no comm pings. I think that's really solid. The Countess jumps in, and they're going to grab her, I think, most likely. Now, with the Countess down, we have jungle and mid down, and look at this wave state. So I instantly call for mid because we can just shove this down. So this is really important kind of a play to make in this scenario. I don't want to steal his big farm from him, so yeah, again, jungle and mid just went down with wave state like on our side, like pushing, so we just take this tower for free. And that's a pretty great play because we invade, we get a little bit further out, and we get a tier 1 tower down. So now my jungle's up because I've been making really aggressive plays. I can just go farm, I can do really whatever I want. So again, you see me use my Eviscerator. 30-second cooldown on Eviscerator, man, can really increase your farming time. And Eviscerator in this kind of a build is literally just kind of like the icing on the cake. Like, I mean, if you're going this heavy damage, like you could just go something like Ice Scorn Talons or Brutal Axe to make sure you're not, you know, getting CC'd, and maybe, you know, Liberator or, you know, Brutal Axe could be the play depending on the comp that you're playing against. But you know, I'm looking at them, and they don't have a ton of CC that I'm too worried about. Like, they don't have a Richter, essentially. So, I feel like, or a Fae, I feel like I can get away with, you know, not having that second cleanse on Kai. So I'm really just leaning into the damage. Alright, sitting on some gold, but I was kind of theorizing here with the Howie that they might be doing mini prime. They're not. So since the Howie's here, me and him can do the mini prime. Now, being Khaimera and having a Sky Splitter, that's like solo queue 101 right there. Like, you get so much value. I don't know how I didn't cleanse that, but you get so much value just by having the shred and the sustain, because, you know, it's really hard to do these kinds of plays on different junglers in solo queue. You don't have as much agency. So now I'm calling to push the left lane, because I think this is another one of those scenarios where we could really just make a play. And now I didn't recognize that the Howie was getting caught out whenever he was. So the Howie, unfortunately, is going to die here, and I'm kind of calling back. But you'll see how terribly they take this fight. Like, that 2v3 is not it, in my opinion. I've got the mini prime on me. I really want to preserve that. I'm using my Eviscerator to try to get this camp out of the way because I don't want them to come and take it from me, so you can kind of see my thought process there. But look at what this Khaimera does. He really, like, comes in and tries to fight me for some reason. So the 2v3 turns into a 2v2, which was basically an uneven 1v1. And then we just kind of like rip through all this here. So I think that they really misplayed this whole scenario of fights. The Morgash never made it over here. I don't even think she had any mana. And it's just like, it's a tough situation to be in there for them, because the Kai really stuck his neck out way too far. Now I'm kind of looking for her to see if she's going to rotate back this way, but at the same time I'm looking for more invade and more potential timers, because why wouldn't I? I'm so incredibly far ahead. Again, you see me using that Eviscerator. Now I have my Wild Hunt that I'm using, and this game is like kind of getting out of control. 10-7, but it's kind of getting out of control in terms of just the mirror match, which unfortunately in Pred right now, mirror matches do exist. With the Morgash seeing me, I'm going to go ahead and run out. I still have part of my blue side jungle up, and I'm sitting on so much gold because Khaimera never has to back. And I feel like the thing with Khaimera jungle is that he just creates a lot of time, right? Like, he creates so much freedom of time because you can make choices like this, where some other junglers at some point they need to back, right? And they need to back not because they can't clear their own jungle, but because the presence of low health on the map like begs for the enemies to potentially contest you in things, right? Like, if they do happen to see you walk across the map and you're low, they might come check out and see what you're doing. So you can see I'm kind of pushing myself to try to afford the Basilisk, but I don't know if I actually end up pulling that off or not. I guess we'll find out, because I could go for a gank, but it's kind of like a slightly less effective gank than it could be, just because of the fact that I haven't bought in a while. So I was considering a flash ult there. You could kind of see it in my actions. And with Sky Splitter, I don't really need other items, but it definitely could put me in a potential situation where I could lose a fight because I haven't bought in a while. But Eviscerator, Sky Splitter, I mean, I'm literally shredding this, so don't know where their Kai is, but we're just working on this. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. And now with Howie here, we're potentially looking for a dive. Again, I have a flash ult. Like, there's... Oh, this is a really stupid play. This is me, like, having way too much of an ego, if I'm being completely honest. This is the most ego-filled thing I've ever done. Now, I really did think we were going to turn... Like, I knew I was going to die for this play, but I didn't know the Richter was going to self-CC himself in tower. And then, I don't know, it just didn't go the way I had hoped. Now, we get kills out of it, so I'm not really that upset. But I think it could have gone better, and I definitely think that it didn't need to happen at all, if that's fair. So you see me queuing up the Mutilator. Yeah, so this play didn't really need to happen at all, like I said. But I was kind of feeling myself, so it is what it is. It is what it is. Again, this is solo queue, so I'm allowed to be a little stupid, I think, unless you really want to win. Unless you really want to win, you should maybe be a little less stupid than me. But now, Morgash in the off lane, 3-0. So, I mean, it's 11-12. So this is, I would say, all things considered, this game is going well. I think it is going to be... Okay, I've said this in the past. I think that carry is the absolute most important role in the game. And then I think jungle is the second most important role in the game, just because of objectives, because you have to have objectives and win objectives to win the game. But I actually don't feel like jungle is like the most high impact in the early going into mid game. It's like they're really high impact in the grand scheme of things. So, but given that sentiment, I think because it's a Khaimera mirror match, and ooh, let's see if I can catch up to this. Because it's a Khaimera mirror match and I'm super fed, it unfortunately affects this particular match quite a bit. All right, so now I stick in this. There's a fight that's going to happen a little later on that I'll have to explain how terribly I do in it. But for this one, I'm really just kind of in swing away mode where I'm just like fighting whoever I can hit, getting that help from the Howie. And, you know, with a shred build, like it's best that you just kill one target, I think, and then she comes out and catches me. So I definitely think it's best that I just try to focus one target. And you're going to see a little bit later on where I really fail to do anything. Now, I'm spam pinging retreat here because the Morgus just killed me in red, or in mid, and I'm assuming she's running through my red jungle, so I'm just like frantically panicking to try to get them out of here because Morgus is kind of their team, the enemy team's win condition, but they actually are doing pretty well. So you know, it was less about me like literally needing them to leave and more about me just like hoping that they cannot go, you know, like 0-2 in that lane with a gank against them. So they're doing fine, right? The Howie rotates over, they get some kills, and then they keep on moving. So it's not that bad. It's not that bad. The Morgus is going to get some kills, but they kind of keep it moving, so no biggie. All right, Mini Prime should be coming up in just a little bit, so you see me posturing over on the blue side, and a lot of jungle is really just reading your map, right? Like, reading your map and then making decisions about the objectives and about where your wave states are. Now, I will say there is something that super annoyed me this game. I keep having to pick up mid because the Howie starts roaming a lot, and, like, I don't mind doing this. This is fine, right? Like, I don't want to lose mid tower. Keeping a tier 1 towers for your team in any lane, but especially mid, is super important. So I go cover mid, and then you're going to see that the Howie keeps kind of forcing me to cover mid, and eventually we lose the tower, and I get really annoyed. So you'll kind of see that. Okay, Greystone pops ult. He's getting into a fight, an engagement. I'm kind of trying to get here. I can't really get in there, and now you see me looking for the Khaimera. Don't want to use my right click. I just go straight in on him, knock him down, jump in on the Countess. Now, I don't know if she has an ultimate. I'll probably cleanse here randomly. Nope, didn't even need to. Just shred straight through them. I mean, absolutely rip through them. And now we have our Mini Prime. Now we got this Mini Prime. We can just go on ahead and blow up. Now, I think I used a smite. I'm looking at the map, and that smite didn't really make sense because I think I used a smite thinking that there wasn't anything else coming up, so I was going to double smite it, and I actually ended up giving this to Greystone, which is fine, but I didn't mean to do that. I didn't need to do that, and I didn't mean to do that, so definitely something I could work on now. Like, in the interest of making, like, a good video that's not just me, you know, like, ego-boosting this good gameplay, I should say the mistakes that I made. So that was definitely a little bit of a mistake there. I need to be a little bit more aware about what's going on the map. But it's all good. 34 seconds. We got Fangtooth coming up, so you see me kind of posturing myself on this side of the map, so that's definitely what I'm looking for. And I mess up my pings twice, which is annoying. So you see me going for the attack Fangtooth ping. And this is one of those scenarios, like, okay, I cover mid. You're going to see what I'm talking about. I promise you're going to see what I'm talking about. I cover mid. Same thing, I want to push out mid. So this is me lane managing right now, right? So, like, we shove, we push out mid. Unfortunately, we lose our support, so you can see me, I'm rotating over now because I'm thinking I don't want to lose everything. But given that position, I think I can probably just rip down Fangtooth. If it wasn't a normal Fangtooth, I definitely wouldn't do this, but this is a tough position to be in because I have to rip this down incredibly fast. So I'm just trying to rip it down because I do want to get us Fangtooth momentum. Okay, now Kai sees me. I'm not quite ripped down on it yet. As it's getting low, I ult. Pop my my smite, and now this is the fight that I'm talking about where I'm just having such a hard time sticking to one target because it's such a mobile, like, on the move fight that I'm kind of forced to fight whoever. Now I pull back, I want to kind of reassess. You pop my heal there, and now, unfortunately, I just can't finish, man. I can't finish. I think had I just done a little bit better at actually sticking on, like, the Countess or the Kai and then not trying to change targets, because I knew I wanted to kill the Countess, but I thought, like, I just was forced to fight whoever was in front of me, and I do think that that was right. I just kind of missed too many autos, right? I missed a little bit too many autos. Now I'm just kind of looking at his build, seeing how he's been building, kind of like catching myself up on the current game state. So unfortunately, I've had a couple of misplays in the fights. On that one, I just misplayed just a little bit, man. Just a little bit. So it's unfortunate. And this is so close, dude. So close. It's tragic, dude. Morgus is a menace. Morgus is a menace. When Morgus gets fed, it's crazy. And you can see me. I'm still trying to finish up the shred. Once I finish up that part of the build, like, I mean, I'm already super ahead, right? But I've kind of tapered off a little bit because I'm not really building any defenses up. And as they start working together, that kind of like single target build that I'm doing, because it is, I mean, all things considered, a single target shred build is going to get slightly less effective until I can build up some defenses to actually survive some of the other damage that's going to be coming my way. So, but always farming a lot, always looking to farm a ton. So one thing I think I've been saying it more and more in every video, always find opportunities to be selfish. You have to farm. If you hit a point in a game, or if you can just look back at your own jungle matches and realize that you're not farming enough for yourself, or you're allowing yourself to always try to gank too much, you're gonna fall behind, dude. The other jungle, look, unless every single one of your ganks is successful, if every time you gank you get a kill or like really shove out the lane, you're gonna fall behind, because the enemy jungler should beat you in farm if you're ganking a ton, and if they beat you a lot in farm and you're not really getting much value out of your ganks, then you're just super behind. So definitely something to think about. Alright, right lane's been kind of struggling a little bit, and I'm just finishing up my farm, and then, okay, I'm gonna go cover mid. I saw the Khaimera was in the middle, so I tried to ping. I'm gonna go cover mid again. So this is me covering mid, which again is fine, but I think I've just done it so much this game that at some point I just get like super frustrated. But I'm gonna try to get the farm out of it, so I actually get the farm out of it. Another mid wave's coming up, and I want to back here. This is where I get frustrated. I have my mutilator, I want to back here, but Howie's still sitting there, so I just end my back. I'm like, okay, dude, I can't. Like, I don't want to give this tower for free, but I have to keep covering it, and I can't even back to buy. So I just remember getting really annoyed here. I think it happens again in a bit. Like, I just get so much more annoyed because I just want to buy, man. I just want to buy. Now, don't remember. All right, now I'm just going to go into, like, the healing items that I like, I suppose. I don't remember what my thought process was for items 4 or 5, but they do have a Morgesh and a Countess, so I was going to go into some magic armor items. I do like to build... gosh, I can't think of the name of it. I mean, you saw the item. I was just going to pick Void Helm. I do like to pick up Void Helm because it increases your healing and gives you some nice stats on it. So now with him getting caught in the Richter, I just want to go ahead and finish that. Unfortunately, I don't get the kill, but I do just like full commit to that. Really, really nice play from the Richter. Just going ahead and pick him up, and now we can like just continue to be a little aggressive. I got two levels on the Kai, which is nice. Now kind of back ourselves up a little bit. Oh, this is me getting annoyed by mid lane because like the Howie roamed over and they just get that for free, man. It's so annoying. So yeah, that was kind of the part that I was thinking of where I just am super annoyed. Okay, we ripped down the Countess real quick, and it's like we just didn't have to give up that mid lane, right? And like we didn't have to. All he did was roam and do a little bit of damage, but it's fine. Like it's not really a big deal. It's just a little annoying. Okay, so our Rev dies, and I got to jump in here. Now, the best thing you can do is try to focus the phase, right? That said, he's already low, and I recognize that I've had some swapped like target issues in my fights. Now, I do my best to keep up with her when I can, and this play, as she's getting away from me, I just go ahead and rip her out of her lance and take her down. So a lot of what I'm doing at this point is just because I got really fed, right? Like, the build does damage. Like, the build is going to do some crazy damage if I can stay ahead. Now, Fang 2-3 is up. I'm up. Get right over to Fang 2-3 and get this benefit. Again, all things considered, 24-22 doesn't really feel like that's how the game should be going at a 10-4, like, super fed jungle game, but there's been a pretty decent number of back and forths. Now, on this play, sometimes, if I feel like my Fangtooth is guaranteed, I will not use my smite, and I will save it to try to have a double smite available. In this instance, I don't know that it actually works. I think that we end up going, like, peeling off into a fight. I think I might be getting some of my games confused, but the reality is that, you know, we're in a really strong position. I feel very confident about just being able to rip this down, so I'm going to look for a double smite. So I jump in, rip my first smite, pop my eviscerator, and yeah, we're just looking for a double smite potential here. So didn't get the cleanse on that one for some reason. Now, our Richter is kind of like holding the mid lane, but unfortunately, he dies for some reason. That's a little unfortunate because we're just about to get Big Prime and then maybe potentially run into mid lane here. Now, look at the play I make here. I try to instantly assess who they are, where they are. I see the phase. I flash, I turn, I go straight for her just because I don't want to give her an opportunity to get away. I mean, if you can take down a phase and Muriel are those supports that you just like, you just want them out of the way, right? You really just want them out of the way. Don't give them the ability to use their kits to get any kind of value. So I think worth the flash where I just flash it and insta-kill the phase and don't really have to worry about her at all. So looking for the Morgash here, mostly just to split myself up a little bit. Unfortunately, our Revenant dies to the Khaimera, but mostly split ourselves up because we do have the Prime, and I can be a little bit patient here. Again, you see I don't really use my right click to initiate. I can take damage because I can always just back up and let the Prime heal me. Now, if she stays in my range, I'm just spamming. Wait for it. If she stays in my range, I'm going to pop my damage here. Should have used my Eviscerator there, actually. I'm not sure why I didn't really get her. I think I do eventually. She steps back in and I go just straight in. So, I thought that was interesting. Because she just goes right back in just to throw like a Q or whatever. And I'm right back in there. Now, I'm sticking on this. I do see that the Countess is potentially going to come wrap around for me. But I'm just not super concerned. Thought about backing there and I was like, you know what, there's not time and I actually just don't care. So, jump in on her, kind of watch my health, pop my ultimate. Unfortunately, I didn't catch her. I preemptively assumed that she was going to try to full commit, and now she's fighting inside of a massive wave, so I'm just kind of all over her. So not sure what that was about. Unfortunately, didn't time that super well, but don't really know what that was about, and now I'm kind of like, should I back? I wanted to back, but then I just kind of assessed instantly after, and I'm like, yeah, there's no threat here. So this game at this point is like pretty much over. It's really just about closing it out. And I mean, you can see that this build is just doing the most. I'm sitting on 3,700 gold. I'm still just doing so much. So probably get this, probably go into Draconum, which is another increased healing, increased damage kind of item. And so incredibly fed. This is definitely like a very big damage Kai build. Again, I don't think this is something that I could probably play competitively, but you could always, you know, tune it around. Like, would it work competitively? Yes. Is it the go-to build on Kai competitively? No. But maybe depending on team comp, if you have another tank or, you know, if you have a tank on the team, you could try to rip this right. You can go Sky Splitter, Eviscerator into Basilisk, and then if you're continuing to Snowball, you can throw the Mutilator on there, or go Sky Splitter straight into some of your armor and health items, right? It's definitely possible to potentially rope something like this. And, yeah, have it go well. So now at this point, we just kind of walk it in and finish it. He gets the hook, and I'm instantly going to ult it, right? Because, like, why wouldn't I? No coordination needed. You see him land a nasty hook, and you know that's the place to be. You know that's the place to be. At this point, I'm just focusing core because it's a guaranteed win. And there you have it, friends. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe for future Predecessor content. As always, really solid build. I think I do show up the damage numbers. You're going to see, I mean, I was just shredding that game. I have 8 assists, too. I mean, it was just a very impressive game to kind of get into. But let me show you the stats on that one. We'll pause there. 28,000 damage. I mean, their Morgash was popping off that game, had 31,000. My Howie, 31,000. So lots and lots of damage. As always, friends, be sure to be kind of with our. Tell someone you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.